Hi guys, in today's video we're going to be looking at this CoPow battery. This is from a company called Handui. Now they are just recently breaking into the North American market. So they sent me out their battery has low and high temperature protection as well as low and high voltage protection, and it also has a Bluetooth module. So what we're going to do first is we are going to take a closer look at this battery. And taking a look at one of the battery terminals and looking at the front of the battery, we have CoPow, safer and smarter, lithium iron phosphate battery, 12 volt, 100 amp hour, nominal voltage of 12.8, nominal capacity of 100 amp hours, and an energy rating of 1,280 amp hours. And that they state that this is automotive grade. Okay, I'm going to perform a over voltage situation. I'm now charging at 14.6 and there is roughly 8 amps going into the battery. And there you go, the BMS has successfully disconnected the charging in order to protect the cells from an over voltage scenario. Now for my discharge test, I'm going to be using this inverter right here. This was sent out to me for review, but I wanted to test it first before I actually make a review video. So look forward to this review coming soon. But I'm going to be using this 1500 watt pure sine wave inverter in order to discharge at a 0.2C discharge rate. Okay, and as you can see here, I'm ready to start the test. I have the CoPow battery, I have 1500 watt inverter, and I have my setup here. Now this setup is great for testing batteries. It is not ideal for actually using it to monitor the battery. It will only show in one direction. So whether you're charging or discharging, it is actually going to show a capacity. So now I'm just hooked up for discharging and I am ready to start the test. Now an ideal test is going to be about 20 amps and that will provide me with a 0.2C discharge rate. There is my current there. Once the light bulbs warm up, it'll be right around a 0.2C discharge rate. So we'll be back in about 5 hours and we will see what the results are. Alright, and the capacity test is complete. We have 103.09 amp hours out of a 100 amp hour battery. This test is a pass. Okay, we've passed our capacity test, we've passed our over voltage test. Now it's time to open this up and see exactly how the internals look. Okay, I've got the battery open. And straight away, as you can see, we have protective caps over the positive and negative, which is really nice. And on both of the conductors, we have a bolt with a split washer and a washer, and then a protective cap, which is really nice. We have a protective sleeve to protect against high heat, which is also really nice. And then we have a foam pad on top here, which is going to keep the cells in place during high vibration. And if I pull this down, we have a hydraulically crimped lug here with some heat shrink on that, and then also two what appears to be number 8 wire, but I'll have to check that. Oh, very nice. I gotta say, this is the first battery that I've taken apart that isn't loaded with glue and some sort of chemical smell. This is really nice. Yep, and I was right. So we can see here a pair of 8 AWG 200 degree silicone wire, and that's going to be all the wiring throughout the battery. So I gotta say, all in all, I'm very impressed with this battery. We have foam here for cushion against the outside of the case, as well as these tabs here. So this is a metal plate that wraps around the whole battery, and we have like shipping straps here, banding, to compress everything together. And then we have our Bluetooth module down here, zip tied onto the banding. We have insulation separation from this bracket system. Like, this is extremely nice. So even our Bluetooth module here has this wrapping around the wiring to protect it. And I really hate to cut into all of this, but I have to tear it down to show you all what's inside. Oh, we have a JBD BMS. And this is a very high quality BMS. We have a JBD SP04S028A VA01. Looks to be 100 amps. That's probably the discharge. And then we have our Bluetooth sensor plug-in looks to be 2 temperature sensors, which I've never really seen 2 temperature sensors on a 100 amp hour battery. And then we have our balance cables. BMS, we have our B negative that comes off of the cells. So I have disconnected the BMS by removing the balance cables. I've also removed the screws holding this top plate on. Okay, now I should be able to remove this top plate. Okay, so we have the 2 temperature sensors here that were on the top of the battery pretty well. We have this resin fiber board, and then we have the BMS affixed to that board. We have the screws that come up through the bottom to attach the BMS to this, so that's a very nice design. Okay, let's have a closer look at these cells. Okay, low temperature charging protection test. I am currently charging at 5.34 amps. Now this is probe number 1. Now in the past that I've had 2 temperature probes, 1 or 2 of them need to be chilled. But let's test this out. Okay, and there we go. We have low temperature disconnect on probe number 1. And let's check out probe number 2. Probe number 2. Get that right in the gel. And there we go, temperature probe number 2. So both of these temperature probes cut off charging. We can see on the app here, that was temperature probe number 2. And now I'm going to use a heat gun to test the over temperature protection. And there we go. We have protection for overheat. Now if I cool this sensor down, it should start charging again. There we go. So yes, we have over temperature and low temperature protection on this battery. So all in all, the final impression of this battery is extremely well built. CoPow, Hyundai, these guys have built an amazing battery. The level of detail, like I mean, they have their own bracket here that is going to protect the battery from impact. Keeps everything nice and organized. Like all the spiral wrap, all of the cables are labeled B1, B2, B3, B4. Like this is an amazing battery. I really like this. They've definitely upped the bar on the 100 amp hour market. The level of quality in this battery is amazing. This is their 100 amp hour battery, and I'm sure that all the batteries they make are going to have this level of quality in them. So I would definitely be keeping an eye out for this company. Thank you for watching, subscribe, and I'll have more battery reviews in the future.